It's really fun.
Hello there.
Hello.
I will just need a quick minute or two to set up as this thing's going, so if anything big happens at the start of this race, I might not catch it because, but it's fine.
The first item is the heart container.
Oh, not a piece of heart this time. Disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, at least your uncle leaves you some love, right?
I guess. Guess that's all.
It's admirable. And the races are now off to the first part of Randomizer, and here we won't see anything different from each other because the escape is pretty linear. We'll get a couple of items, and I always hope that something cool will be at the first few item places or chests.
I'm still hoping the mirror shows up at some point. That'd be
fun thing about the mirror is early on is that you can actually mirror out after you get Zelda, and it can save like a minute. Ooh, Alanim picking up 4 bombs here, and AmazingAmpharos as well, which means if they keep those 4 bombs, they will have 3 extra items at the end of escape, and they will not have to come back here, which is huge.
Yeah, that's always a big deal. I mean, the logic doesn't require that you get bombs before leaving in order to clear stuff, because that isn't guaranteed. And I think even when bombs are in a chest, it still technically breaks the logic, because you might just skip those chests. They are optional after all. So there may be something good there, but it isn't required in order to immediately progress in the seed. So
we got another important item, the single arrow drop.
Oh yeah, the one arrow that will destroy Ganon. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's the most important arrow in the entire game.
So yeah, unfortunately that's like the one thing about doing these runs, which I guess open mode kind of fixes a little bit, but there's the one thing about doing so many of these races as far as commentary goes, is that there isn't a whole lot of new stuff to say for each time you do this. I think most people by now understand, it is basically 6 minutes of go through, hope you get bombs, which they did very early, and go from there. It gets creative in races like earlier where the fire rod shows up straight away, but other than that,
Got to laugh that one shot that the ball and chain got. Yeah, another fun item to get early on is the Pegasus boots, because everything will be a lot faster.
Oh yeah.
And the bomb counter still.
Sorry, just seeing Alanim not quite getting the big key before going to rescue Zelda there. That amuses me more than it should, I'm sorry.
Can't blame the man from trying brute force at first.
I mean, I probably would as well if I had the chance, but sadly that is not something.
That's one key you can sell. Maybe. No.
There is talk of a skeleton key coming up in the shops in a later version, so we'll see if that actually pans out.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want a key to Hyrule Castle, right?
Well, there is a lot of dark, bottomless pit stuff in this place, so I don't know.
It's just a little bit of renovation. Like, if you can get a castle, you can renovate it, right?
If you can buy a castle, you can dodge a ball. What do you mean that's not how it works? Alright, so going into the dark area here, I guess you don't need the lamp in this version because, well, it would be basically stupid to always have the lamp as one of the first 3 or 4 items in the run, so you don't need it for Light World. But I wonder if we'll actually see it during the run. Yeah, fortunately, because this would be freaking impossible to do in the dark.
Yeah.
That one rat.
Link has been blessed with some really good eyes for the light world. They get a lot more worse in the dark world, sadly.
Yeah, it distorts his vision a little bit, I guess. I mean, it is the dark world, not the white world, so there's not a whole lot of light to be around there. Yeah, but really, just for the sheer fact of there is that one rat that you need to kill in the AmazingAmpharos is in here. If nothing else than that, this would be ridiculous to do without the lamp. But for plenty of the other rooms too. Then,
I mean, you would have to hope for like bomb boss in the first chest.
Or the fire rod, I suppose, because you could, if you were really amazing at knowing where the stuff is.
True. The 3 chests at the end of Escape giving not that much, sadly.
Sadly, given the map as well, because I hadn't seen the map until now, and it would have been nice to just skip the final chest in Sanctuary, but now they have to walk around the priest as usual. It's very easy to forget that. Like, if you've gotten all the other items in the place, then it's really easy to forget that the map is there, so you just walk around anyway and waste like 3 or 4 seconds.
True.
Oh, so AmazingAmpharos. Actually, he was the one who sort of cottoned me on to doing this potentially in the first place, going down to South Hyrule first. Interesting.
That's an interesting strat, actually.
So he's got a ton of bombs, he doesn't have a bottle, and he has less than 50 rupees, so it's not entirely guaranteed that he'd be able to buy the bottle vendor's item either. So all of those criteria being met means there's a chance that this pays out. It still isn't guaranteed. I mean, if Flute is in Kakariko, then this is a big waste of time, but you don't exactly expect that to happen all the time. And we already see the silver arrows there. That's pretty
silver arrows.
Yeah, I noticed AmazingAmpharos' sound is not quite right either, so I'm using Alanim sound to keep my stuff in sync here. Oh, that's
mirror.
That's rough. So rip anybody who wants to do all of these seeds no save and quit, because that is physically impossible in this one.
True. That's true. It means is they also need to find Pegasus boots early on, I think.
Oh, not checking the item on the mushroom spot first. That's interesting. Now, the only other... Oh, but the Moonpearl, though.
Moonpearl.
So, the only thing with Ampharos' way around of doing this is that you are much less likely to have health going around here. That extra heart is nice, but still doesn't really do a whole lot against a massive 2 heart of crab damage.
Yeah, those crabs don't mess around.
No, they do not. So the miniature hype cave here not really living up to any form of hype right now, as Alanim just gets all of his stuff stolen. So I'm assuming, yeah, we are probably still going to see the Ice Rod Cave here. Some players do opt to skip this just now. I know in the race earlier, Elm and I think Fred both actually skipped the chest here. And Elm actually skipped doing, Fate Flippers too. So it's interesting because they both came down South Hyrule early, which was a really funky decision, but you know. Alanim not setting the bomb before coming down to the puzzle here. Not a huge amount of time sync, but it's just one of those little things that you can sometimes miss. As the flippers are there, that's pretty cool. So no fake flippers needed for him this run.
The small things do add up though at the end.
Oh, they do, definitely. AmazingAmpharos not actually doing fake flippers either, so he won't be disappointed in this particular run, I don't think. Does have a ton more money now than when he left to go down to South Hyrule though, so more than a comfortable amount. As it turns out, Alanim's going to have enough to get the vendor anyway, and with the huge amount of bomb drops that have been picked up, not being able to buy bombs is not a problem in the slightest. So in this seed, it doesn't really look like it was super worth it going down. And there's a blue potion in Kakariko too.
Nice.
So all of the items are available. And yeah, this was definitely a seed where it's not too beneficial going down that South Hyrule first. But you're not going to know that until you actually play the seed. So
I mean, there's always going to be a couple of gambles you have to take.
yes. And even then, it's not a huge amount of time for gambling in that sense. It's only really a big problem if the flute is in town. Because then you really have lost quite a lot of time because you had to save quick all the way back up, whereas you could just flute down to the dam. So interesting way around for AmazingAmpharos here, going to the down the hill there rather than just walking normally. That's can't say I've seen anybody do that yet. So alright, Sid Kid, what do you got? Oh, okay. So how did he get sick this time? I mean, he's holding the Sword of Evil's Bane, so is he secretly evil?
Thing is, Boss Sword does seem to have a glowing sort of light coming from it, so it might be attracting bugs and everything, which can carry a disease, I guess.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
That's my made-up theory right now.
Yep, it is not instant butter, which is fine by me. So is that just Rupees that was on the live briefing there?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
It's the collecting of all the fines people have to pay.
Donation box that isn't really donations at all, but so interesting. Yeah, just taking a little bit of time before save quitting there, just not quite realizing, I guess, exactly where he wanted to go. Alanim, that is, but that's fine. At the very least, he doesn't have the flute to forget to use the flute out of that spot. Killing the guard on the way past in cold blood, that's harsh, dude. He was just hiding in his little bush, not really bothering anyone. Except the time he tried to ping arrows at you, but that is not the point. So, with the flippers in tow, we will most likely be seeing what the hobo has to offer here, as we eventually go around. So, we do know at least where the mirror is, so we may see Aghanim after a few rounds here as well. There's not a whole lot else that you would really want to do just now. Without the bow, you don't particularly want to do Easton. Might check Shahabadu's items, but other than that...
It's a really hard name.
I know it's Sahashala, but I always just call him Shahabadu anyway.
Yeah, I can feel you.
Or Sasha, that works too. Oh, the 4 bomb drop there being left behind as well. Not really too big a deal. 7 bombs is still plenty, but you never know. We've seen bomb strats being used on some bosses, and running out as a result. So AmazingAmpharos is immediately going for the grind here. Seeing the flippers, he is instantly going, right, I need to see what Zora has. And that might pay off. It could also just be a long-winded thing of nothing. I'm assuming Zora is going to have something as well, so it's probably not that risky of a play. But at the same time, this is a horrific grinding spot, and if you end up finding the Power Glove or the Titan's Mitt behind Shahashala, then, that would be a much quicker way of grinding here. Especially if you got Titan's Mitt, because then you could go and do the little glitch with the treasure game in Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, if I were him, I would have definitely considered just checking out another place for now, and see what happens.
I'm still
That
hoping
was-
Hobo's got something. That's my main one at the moment, thinking Hobo's probably got something here. You don't tend to get flippers this early without at least one of these 3 spots, you know, the 2 at Zora and the 1 at the Hobo being something. Of course, the greatest irony here would be if Hobo has 300 rupees. Because that would give Alanim enough to actually get the item from Zora as well, without any grinding whatsoever.
True.
So that would be the biggest irony here.
And would even be bigger if Zora gave you the 1 green rupee.
I gave you one of the 2 green rupees. Yeah.
Scam of the century. I'm certainly Zora and the library are both into this scam, if that happens.
Yeah, and they're fueled by the breadsmiths and their counterfeit marketplace. Oh, just a piece of heart. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just a quarter
So
of
much
love.
for that idea. So, with enough money in tow, AmazingAmpharos is going to go and check the Zora spot now. Yeah, I don't think either of them actually checked pull trees, because they had almost a full stock of bombs after escape, so there wasn't quite as much of an issue. I didn't see... Oh, heart piece on the island. I was about to say, I didn't see what was on the island, but I just did, so it's fine. I don't think Alanim saw what was on the island, though.
I think he's going to Easton right now, at least to Sasha's place. I think that's...
Yeah, he's just gonna get health from the ferry first. There's a lot of these fairy fountains around both Light and Dark World, and it's very easy just to forget they exist. Quite a notable one can sometimes be on the one that's on Dark World Death Mountain, because if you've just spent a whole load of health and all of your magic getting the burner item in Spike Cave, but you still want to be around that area, then there is a full health that you can take. Probably never gonna see use, but...
Especially with those
Not convinced the first bomb is gonna do the trick, the second bomb just making absolute sure.
Hey, if you want to break something, you have to do it.
Oh! So, if you are Alanim now, you are absolutely doing it right now. You have just about enough hearts. Master Sword is a little bit sketchy for it, but you've got enough hearts, and you have a blue potion, because that was the item there. You are going straight for Aghanim. You're going to get the item that's on the pyramid, and then you're going to save quit and get that mirror. No questions asked. I would do exactly the same thing here. Because you know that you have to kill him, and there's no point. I mean, he doesn't want to grind rupees. Why would you? So, I don't want to grind rupees. That would be boring.
AA is going to check what King Zora will written off for. I mean, so.
Okay. That's pretty good.
And I believe someone actually called this in chat.
Probably. Wouldn't it be? But I didn't see what was on the ledge. I'm assuming it obviously wasn't needed because he had access to it. So yeah, I'm assuming that it was just for the mitts here. But that is a pretty good pickup, because now you go up to the mountain. Of course, we know that this means he is going to have Pegasus boots for quite a while. And I know it's kind of a point of contention in general. Like, quite a few players just
struggling here with the golden ball.
Oh no!
Oh, look at that. That's
so nothing too important in the poultry. So yeah, we know. Oh, Ampharos is checking the poultry tiers now. So I guess we could maybe talk about that briefly. Maybe he didn't even see what was in the thing here, so now he's going to say, right, mirror, probably now going to go and do himself. So I want to see if he's going to check the poultry tiers, then we can say what that's about. But nope, just going up to Death Mountain. Okay.
Yeah, and why not? It's one of the few paths he can take, and he unlocks a saving quit.
Yes, that is the main reason I go up, even when I don't have much that I can do up there. That saving quit point is perfectly good. And he doesn't know yet that the Pegasus boots are at Sasha's place. So he might be thinking that it's up on the mountain, which they quite often are, actually. Either the Old Man item or inside the Spectacle Rock Cave. Quite often the case. Yeah, this place that Alanim's in at the moment would by far the most difficult place to try and do lampless. This I think would be pretty much impossible.
Absolutely. I have nothing but respect for the people who can do lampless in places like Mire and Palace of Darkness.
Oh, Fire Rod! So Alanim, if he gets enough money to go see Zora, then he will have access to that Fire Rod when we're done here.
Yeah.
Hope. So what do we? Oh, Tempered Sword too. Nice. We are totally having progressive swords here. What do you?
Yeah. That never happens.
So, what are we hoping for on the pyramid? Are we hoping for like a free hundo, or are we hoping for something a bit more progression based?
You know what? I think if Alanim would get like 300 rupees there, I think I know what he's going to do.
Yeah, straight into Zora at that point, I would hope. Because he doesn't have Titan's Mitt yet, so he doesn't really have any other way of accessing Dark World. Without a glove upgrade, you can't go see the catfish, and I mean, if it's the hook shot, then he might go to Village of Outcast, if he remembers that you can do that. Because he does have the flippers, so he can swim in that little trench bit. And you'd be able to reach. Or the hammer, yeah, the hammer would be decent, but the hammer, I suppose hammer would lead to Hype Cave, so that'd be
it would lead to Hype Cave. which is the most important part.
I guess. You're not wrong. You know, after taking that death, he's made his health up really well here.
Yeah.
Sitting at 4 hearts coming into this final lap.
He still has that blue potion as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Not taking the heart. You don't really need to, though, because, to be totally honest with you, without the blue balls here, Aga 1 is absolutely toothless. So, I've come up here with half a heart from the rest of this dungeon, and it never been. Because you always know when the lightning phase is coming, it's every 4 hits, and so long as you don't spin attack Aga by accident, there's no threat here whatsoever.
That's absolutely true.
So right now, I'm pretty happy with the way Alanim is reading this. Like, if I was playing this seed, I would probably have done most of the same stuff by now.
Yeah, but you have to give it to AA here. He is almost at the same spot as Alanim right now, but he has gotten, instead of the Pegasus boots, he has gotten a Titan's Mitt.
Yeah, his execution is really good. I've raced him quite a few times in the weeklies to that, and we've gone roughly even. He's pretty good, so... Fantastic RNG crowd camera from Alan there. So, yeah, not too bad. Let's see what we find on top here. Because of having the moon pole, he does get the full health and magic refill. So that's pretty good. And we have... suspense.
Keep us in suspense.
Mushroom! Ooh.
A mushroom, which is a fetch quest item, so it might actually be quite useful.
So he's just thinking, there's nothing else I can do here, let's just go.
Yeah. Get the mirror and get out.
Yes. The mirror would be the first thing to do here, because this also lets you check the Sanctuary bubble pile, which has not yet been done.
Rubble west of Sanctuary, if he remembers.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to, yeah. There we go. One of the top 3 locations to forget in the entire game. The lamp was actually here in the earlier race, so Fred managed to get that and not have to do lampless stuff, which was good. And that's not bad. That will probably stop him from doing Zora for a little bit. which honestly isn't a disaster because we know Fire Rod is up on Death Mountain. And
Yeah, and looking
Mirror
at
is-
his rupee count, it's good to keep going.
Yeah.
And
So
I
I
believe
thought,
Hera
yeah,
Hera
Tara
and
Hera.
Desert.
Right, so Desert. Okay, did you catch if it was green pendant for Eastern then?
I didn't catch which color it was. Yeah, it's green pendant. Looking
Okay,
at my other screen.
so that's not too bad then if you do end up having to do that. But great start here for Alanim, definitely.
Absolutely.
So, given that the mushroom is the pyramid item, and given what I know from AA, I'm kind of expecting that this is what he's going to do next. I'm slightly disappointed he didn't check the catfish there, but at the same time, it's a really long way to go, especially without Pegasus boots. But I mean, he does have access to it, so you never know. So where is he going now? He doesn't... Oh, Alanim not realizing Pegasus boots do nothing when you have an old man behind you.
Yeah, that old man does not have the same kind of boots as you have, so you have to be a real gentleman here.
Interesting. So Ampharos is actually going to go Village of Outcasts, which is not a bad idea either. There are loads of items you can get over there, so not exactly a bad call. But I just figured because the mushroom was blocked, if you will, behind Ice Palace is one that you don't have to do. It's pretty good. I think Turtle Rock was, though. That was Crystal 4, if I was looking at that right. So it's hard to keep track of both at the same time when you're hoping that Alanim's not going to die to Cabbage Patch.
Oh, and I missed it twice.
50 rupees for the item in there. Ice and Thieves Town. Oh, that's annoying. Thieves Town is always one that you want to do anyway, and it's annoying when it's a pendant.
Yeah, because it's one of the easiest Dark Road dungeons, and also
Yeah.
relatively fast. It's
Wow,
close
then-
to a war point.
Oh, what are you doing? There's fairies on the other side. What are you doing? Oh no! Oh, Mini Moldon catches him on the
Oh.
side.
And the mini Molder, I'm taking after his or her parent.
Oh, not actually getting a kiss from the old man there either, unfortunately. But that's okay, because with the Fire Rod, he will get the Fire Rod in a minute, and he does. I imagine we're just going to see Tower Hera here, because there's no point leaving that dungeon behind when you can full clear it guaranteed.
And it's Crystal Dungeon, so
Yeah. So even more reason to do it. Like, I would probably still at least get the items out of here if I could. But
yeah, or at least try to get the crystal.
yeah. But when it's a crystal, it's you should. Oh,
Ooh,
Ethan, that's
Ether.
cool.
Nice.
So we have the Harry Potter coin here as well. It's pretty good. And it's magic too, right? So
Yeah. I haven't heard that one before, so that was just
I just thought of it like in my stream last night, thinking, yeah, that's kind of a Harry Potter thing. So you know, it's referred to as the bolt coin if you ever get it from someone like the sick kid. Yo, speaking of swords and bolts and stuff like that, we now have our butter sauce. It's so. I have no idea how you would reconcile that one, considering it's the flute kid that's turning into a tree is the one who gave it to. No idea how you would reconcile that as a thing as to why he's now turning into a tree.
too much butter, I think. I don't know. No.
Oops, Ampharos has got to be careful. He's running really low on everything here.
Yeah, and
Alright.
if he dies here, he would respawn on the Pyramid of Power, which is quite some backtracking he wants.
Fantastic use of the sword beam there for after falling down. Oh, the Bo, High Cave living up to the hype. Alanim is falling down all over the place here. Kind of unfortunate. So, Bo is pretty good. That might lead him now to just do the eastern area, and that is going to give him the Pegasus boots. So,
yeah. And also, after the bow, we did get the Bloomerang.
Yes. Even though that's not nearly as hype, but yes. Yep. So on the way to eastern, going to check the mushroom. I like this. Has there been anything significant in Hera so far? I haven't really seen any item drop.
Not really, no.
Well,
but never
I
mind.
spoke too soon. Now we have something, and this is really good rooting for Alanim too, because now that he has that as 50 rupees for the mushroom there, really insignificant, unfortunately. Now that he has the hookshot here, he's going to be able to check the side of Death Mountain too. So this is a fantastic sort of logical progression through the seed here, without having to rupee grind. He's doing really well so far. And he has my favorite weapon of the year. He has my second favorite utility tech in Hookshot, and the Mirror Shield.
Wow.
He doesn't even have to go down basement because those were the two items in the dungeon. So I think it's the compass that's in the basement here. I didn't quite see at the start which one otherwise he had, but it's one of those two that's in the basement, so he doesn't even have to go down that way. Looks like he's going to anyway, though, because maybe not quite counting all of the items correctly here. There are only 2 items in this dungeon, and the big chest and Moldorm had it. AmazingAmpharos getting himself the Pegasus boots here, does not elect to do Eastern whilst he's here, which is interesting. Because with Silver Arrows and the Pegasus boots, you'd think that's a pretty quick place to go. And Green Pendant could be something important. I think Alan's just realized, I don't actually have to do this place. The compass is the only thing I'm missing. What am I doing wasting my time in OK's favorite room? Yeah, that is. So now, yep, his
really does like that room.
He does, so yeah. His rooting is super nice right now.
Yeah,
very happy. Oh, getting stuck! He's used the hook shot!
He's like, nah, I can't wait this out. Oh, and the meatballs got him.
I don't know if the hook shot would have actually saved him there, but at least it would have been worth a go. I've never actually
being tried. Yes.
I've never been caught in that position before, and I know the dead rocks tend to stop you moving through with the hook shot. Like there's a bit of overlap with that, where most enemies you'll just go straight through, but the dead rocks you don't. But it may have helped him out anyway. At the very least, the invincibility frames would have helped.
Dead rocks must be some of the strongest enemies in the game.
They are so irritating.
I mean, would win a Death Rock or a Ganon.
So the only catch here that AmazingAmpharos has got an edge in this particular bit is that he has Tiny Smith, whereas Alanim does not. So Alanim can't check the Dark World Death Mountain stuff as well. That's the only unfortunate part about the way that the routing has worked out here. However, that doesn't... There's nothing here, and there's still 8 chests that he can get, including the hammer!
Ooh, that's a good one to get.
Very nice.
It's really interesting how both of them have taken such a different route.
Yeah, Ampharos just decided I'm going to take the chance on Zora at the start, and the flute! Oh man!
The flute, nice.
So, even though he can't check Dark World Death Mountain just now, it's not the end of the world, because that flute is going to make it easier to come back. Missing Spiral Cave, though. That's the one negative I can say on his routing at the moment. Missing that Spiral Cave. However, we'll see if that actually turns out to be important later or not. Probably be coming back for it when we check the Dark World side of Death Mountain too.
Yeah. In that case, it might actually work out for Alanim.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't do the bomb jump, then it is kind of slow going back up to check it. It is one, I mean, it's a long cave anyway, but it is one very long cave to get to.
And Alanim might decide to pick up the cash in the library and go to the witch house, turn in mushroom, and head to Zora.
Was it 300 that was in the library then?
Yeah, I believe it was 300.
Okay. That would be good. You can actually get to Village of Outcasts from here as well, which is a possibility. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because he can use the hammer and actually do the quote-unquote intended route round here, he'll be able to reach Village of Outcasts, and he may elect to do rupee grinding there if he knows about the chess glitch, the chess game glitch. Carcat has advised me that that will be fixed as soon as Tony stuff is done, so don't rely on it after the tournament, but because there's no more... Yeah.
Use it.
Or he could elect to do Skullwoods, but that would be a little bit ambitious, I think.
He has the fire rod. A couple
Yeah, he
of,
could do
hearts.
Skullwoods. It's 7
Effort.
hearts green mail with no invincibility stuff is ambitious, even if you are like super good at the game. That is still a rough place to go, you know.
Yeah, he's going to fall.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so this is something which will be fixed later on. However, at the moment, this is something you can do to get rupees if you are able to access this game. The second chest will always have 100. First chest can have whatever, but the second chest will always have 100. So if you get lucky, like did there.
Because you got back-to-back double hundreds.
Yeah.
That's some luck right there.
Sometimes that will happen. It's not too common, but yeah, you can get anything out of that. So AmazingAmpharos coming up to the hypest of caves so far. I would say that having 2 good items in here makes it better than the actual hype cave.
Yeah, because it was only, well, the bow and boomerang is not required, even though it's fun to get.
Yeah. I often find that it messes... I mean, sometimes it messes my menuing up, sometimes it makes it better. Looks like AmazingAmpharos is going for the lower, like the portal here, rather than checking Spiral Cave directly. He's going to go through the Dark World Death Mountain stuff and mirror back to check Spiral Cave after. Good plan. So with all the tools that Alanim has at the moment, he is capable of doing a whole bunch of stuff in this area, including pegs, including the bat spot here, which looks like that's what's going to happen. Slightly not quite the correct way of doing this. I think you would get the blacksmith first, and then you would do pegs, then you would mirror out, get the blacksmith back in, pick up the chest, get the magic bat on the way out, and flute to the chest guy.
Those are the speed strats.
Yeah.
I guess.
However, you shall be cursed to have a boomerang that lights the game with sparkles for the rest of your days.
Yeah. That's some real evil cursing of the gargoyle. I don't know what it really is actually.
Yeah, he's a magic bat, I think. So we need Quake in order to get to the rock here. Yes, he gets cursed with lag, exactly. That's exactly how it goes.
Ooh! Did you see that? King of Samaria on the floating island.
Whoa! That's the first time I've seen a good item there in quite a while. This is why you check that place before going through the cave, though, because most of the time you don't have to, but if you do need an item on there, it pays to know.
Shuffle. Now we can do the digging game.
Lots of monies. Oh, and the Ether as well, as you would expect, because we already knew it was there. However, Alanim didn't, and that is the main. So now he's done the show against that. What he might... I mean, this is what you would do if you had but I guess he's just doing this bit anyway. This makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna flute out with the purple chest, it makes sense to do this bit first.
I mean, well, Meyer is quiet, so I guess this way he makes sure he doesn't forget it or something.
Well, no, I mean, the AmazingAmpharos is going to get the cane anyway. That's fine. I'm looking at the way Alanim is reading stuff down here. He's doing the Haunted Grove-esque area as is at the moment, and that's fine. If you're going to flute with the chest anyway, then... Oh, but he's not. Okay, so he's not going to do that stuff at the moment. Maybe going to check the hype kit. It's the best thing I can sort of think of as to where he's going now.
He did get the
Only problem is the hype cave is in the dark world, not the light world. Good job you remembered. There's actually a fairy fountain in there, so I think it's the big fairy rather than ones you can catch. But...
So, the hype fairy? Maybe? No.
There's about 5 of them or something in the light world overworld, and there's at least 3, I think, in the dark world.
Yeah, I can't even remember how all of them are. I mean,
the weirdest one. The weirdest one is the one that's in basically where the Ice Rod Cave is. In the Dark World, I believe that is actually a fairy fountain. Just a heart piece for the shuffle, nothing too special there.
But the stuff that heart piece though. And I'm now picking up the bow as well.
So just pop into voice and explain, apparently, for something there. So there we see Usain Bolt, the fastest guard alive. Apparently, from what I was told, that the reasoning behind that is because the guards don't have the same sort of restriction. Oh yeah, of course. I forgot about that. No Titansmith. So, for Alanim, I was assuming at this point. But yeah, no Titansmith. Derp. So yeah, he couldn't actually do the other stuff there. Whoops. We are going to see the mushroom now, which is pretty good. Yeah, so for that guard, that one particular guard is always going to catch you if you move diagonals. Did AmazingAmpharos not get any of this stuff before or something? Like, I suppose he just went straight for money farming rather than...
Yeah, I mean, he did not check the library, but perhaps.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Alanim is not especially far behind, but at the same time, there are a couple of places not being able to check the nice book in a place that you would need to get
and Quake
too.
That's a nice little. I don't know what is it actually. Swamp house.
I guess. Funniest one is when you find book in the palace itself. You know.
Yeah.
So Alanim not realizing with Pegasus boots and such, the best way, and the flippers, best way to go is actually to dash along the top wall there. Doesn't really matter, he's progressing perfectly fine, and there is the Titansmith, so... Guys can not be quite so worried about that now. The menu is super jank at the moment, and unfortunately the bird does not listen when the sound of crashing waterfalls is too high. I don't know if he knows that at the time. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I just have to save quit out of here.
I have to admit, I keep making that same mistake myself as well.
It's understandable.
It's just Bohemia's. Ooh, new tunic.
Nice banana hat. Now our color scheme is complete.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's full banana right now.
So with the Titansmith in tow, I think this would be my again with the trolling here. I think this would be my second. This would be my second place to go after Misery Mire, because I always like to just check.
Ooh,
Ouch.
take another death in the mountain.
I always like to just check what's around there as soon as I can, because you never know with the item set that you'll get. But regardless, we know that this is not a bad option either, going up to Darkworld Death Mountain here. You'd probably be hoping to find a book so that you could do the Ether Tablet as well. Sadly, we know that won't happen, but it's okay. So, I think AmazingAmpharos is probably going to finish Desert here. But
Yes,
okay. Just making sure the portal is far out of the way so that it doesn't end up bonking him when he comes out the dungeon. Very easy to do if you try and just mirror to that spot. So Alanim taking the scenic route around here. This is the way the game intends you to do this place, so not exactly a bad thing, but you can walk along the right-hand side. I have no idea why, actually, because without using glitches, which are, I believe, exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version, there's no reason that you would be able to do anything on that right-hand side. So I have no idea why you're actually able to walk on that end. Yes, the hobo was a piece of heart, if I remember rightly. It was nothing good in this particular one, but both players have checked it.
AmazingAmpharos now about to take care of Lamolas and should give him his second booster.
So hopefully we get the Silver Arrow one cycle here.
Ooh, that's two.
Oh, just missed it up.
He missed it. It's always the last one.
Always is. So seeing King Samario on the island, Alanim is going to know he has to get every item out of this hookshot cave now.
Yep.
Again, great foresight. Just remembering to check that first, because I've seen players just default to go, to just automatically go through this place without actually checking that first, and end up with just a 20 rupees for their trouble. Or worse, I've seen them get green rupees off of that as well. So
have the single arrow in there, and
so,
we have a great mix for disaster.
So here, AmazingAmpharos going to the Elminster cave. This had bow earlier, and Elminster just didn't get it for minutes. So this is basically the equivalent of the sea room for me. So And well, with all of the items here, AmazingAmpharos might, considering if Maya is needed, if he can get in, he might consider doing it. Nice mirroring to here first. Although at the same time, if you're not planning on going back in that portal, I'm wondering why you not just jump down off of that ledge. So that's what's making me think maybe he's come back in, as we see synchronized cane collecting on both sides there. That's pretty entertaining. Oh, you actually don't have to go back through this cave though. In the Dark World, there's a drop portal. Not drop portal, but a drop ledge that you can go to. Looks like he's checking. I forget what's even up here. I think the other one. Oh, Great Fairy there. The other one is a shop. Remember that much. I have no idea what a shop is doing behind a bomb wall in the cave, but yeah, looks like AmazingAmpharos is indeed going to do Misery Mire just now.
It's a great place for a business in the cave.
I guess so. There's a couple of other shops in the caves around there too, so kind of funky. So this is definitely an interesting choice. I mean, I know AmazingAmpharos can do Landless, so there's not a problem with that. But it's definitely an interesting way around here, facilitated by the fact that he did early grinding for money. That is really the big difference that we've had here. Yeah, this is Crystal 5, so you might be thinking that Fat Fairy is necessary in this seed, because Swamp Palace is accessible with the items they have at the moment, and is Crystal 6, so just do it whilst you're here. again, facilitated by the items that he's had at the time. It's really cool to see the logic here, as all the blocks shall disappear. So, with the default medallions being the only stuff that was required to get to dungeons here, we know that bomb burst is not needed. Would still be nice, but it's not needed.
Yeah, especially for some. Wait, I remember ice palace not being necessary. I always like seeing bombers in the ice palace.
Yeah, it's not necessary, but if you don't find half magic, then you need your entire magic bar in order to kill Coldstare's ice around. No, to break the ice around Coldstare. So if, like crystals, you miss a shot.
One single bomb ball shoots.
Yes.
They'll do the trick as well.
So this is what I thought Ampharos might have been doing, is to just drop down that ledge there. But the way that he ended up working through this makes a lot more sense, knowing what number crystal mine is, and knowing that he can do lampless, no problem. Well, I say no problem, Mire is always a problem, but relatively painlessly.
Turning that anti-fairy in a normal fairy. Thinking, yeah, this is a pretty tough dungeon. I could probably use a fairy, at least for the health food for.
Yep. Yep. Big key's not in the usual chest I find it in this time. I swear, like, the last 3 or 4 runs I've done with that I've had to do Maya, the big key has been in that chest, and only that chest. So, Alanim needs to work out now exactly where he wants to go.
I mean, if I were him, I would probably take care of Desert Palace since you're in the area.
Yeah, which he might go on for. No, he's actually gonna, I imagine, do Swamp Palace then.
Huh.
That's also not an awful choice, although you might want to hold off on it until you're sure that you need to do it, just because of how quick it is compared, when you do go mode compared to checking all the items. But it is still not a bad choice.
Wow. Big key not being on the left side. I have not seen it happen yet.
That's the first time I've seen that in a little bit. Yeah, so Swamp Palace is indeed where we are heading here. He does have all the items to finish it, so that's not a problem.
And Swamp Palace does have quite a bit of items, I guess.
Yeah, 6 different items you can get. Quite often that ends up being something. Ice Rod would be quite good to find in there, to be honest.
Or I like to believe that Alanim might want the lantern and take out the Maya and just back to back.
I'm assuming the lantern is definitely something you. Because there aren't too many people. We have seen quite a few do lampless, but there aren't too many, and not trying to be super prejudiced, but just based on the playstyle that we've seen so far, I would imagine lampless is not something he is comfortable in the slightest, or is even probably considered doing. Because I know for a fact that again, personal experience, but I wouldn't have considered it before I had that stupid seat with the lamp in the Master Sword pedestal. He's missing the chest at the start, though.
Oh, it's going.
Thankfully, going back for it. Yeah.
It's almost as if he heard us.
So, AmazingAmpharos not quite getting the positioning right on the bot the first time here. It's tricky to do. The main way that most people do this is to hit the sword against the bottom of the map, so you can tell when you hit the doorway, and the pot and the switch, therefore the switch, is directly above that. Andy showed me a better way of doing it, told me rather than showed, where you hold your sword out left as soon as you enter the room, you walk along that top corner, and as soon as you hear the bonk, you tap down and then go right, and the pot is right there. So if you then just walk over the switch a bit, you can turn left and put the block on the switch, no problem. He's used his potion as well. This is definitely not going well.
This is like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
At this point.
And the thing is, you've got to circle around those, around the fireballs too, because it's really difficult to actually keep yourself positioned properly with that.
Absolutely.
So I think I just heard money on the side of Alanim. There was the item in the compass chest, I think it is there. I have to apologize for not always checking on that side at the moment because, yeah, he managed to make it through though. Okay, so hopefully this will be just about enough health that AmazingAmpharos will be able to make it through. Alanim actually doing the more efficient strat here. This is something that is very easy to mess up if you just autopilot to hit the switch there. But when you do have the hookshot coming in here, it is actually more effective to take the key in the main area there, use the crystal switch so that you can get through this bit, and then, well, rather than the switch there, you would actually drown the thing. So he's kind of forgotten there. He had the route, and then kind of forgot what he was doing a bit, because he's just taken the pot here. Is that? Oh yeah, whoops! This is the whole reason I was going up in the first place. So the idea is that you then just hit the lever, push the lever, and then that floods the room straight up. If you do make a mistake with that and you accidentally drown the key, I would still go over, because I think I did this yesterday actually on stream.
Yes, Dark Magician, definitely cheating.
I would still go ahead and check the two chests on that left-hand side, and then you need to screen transition outside of the dungeon so that you reset the water levels. That wouldn't work in the base game, but in the base game you don't shot for going into this dungeon, so there's no way that you can make a soft lock in the game. So the Silver Arrows doing their best against old Viddy Boy over there. Not really getting anything special off of it, but the way that was rooted out is really nice. Just being able to do both of those crystal dungeons and collect all the items in the area at the same time really is interesting.
Nice.
Seeing that grinding pay off at the start.
Absolutely. I think we can definitely say he made the right call to grind for the money, take the bet on King Zora, go there, get the bits. Oh, a bee in a bottle.
I mean, yeah, I think overall, for the way that he's played this has worked out for the better. I think Alanim's rooting has still been really good for the most part. I'm not entirely sold on Gun Swamp, but it's still not a bad idea just because of how many items are here. If Alanim could have done Lampless, then I think they've still been fine as far as doing the same thing as what Ampharos just did there. But regardless, he's still doing really well for himself here.
Hey, you know what would be cool? Ice Rod in the Ice Bands.
I've had that a few times before.
And with this seed having a pendant in the Ice Palace, might be something that's saving for last.
Yeah, it is only Ice Palace. It is only the Ice Rod that is still needed for AmazingAmpharos here. So,
Lantern in Palace of Darkness, Ice Rod in Ice Palace. I think that's kinda the only two things they might really need.
I didn't even get to see what the item was in there. Frame skipped off of that. I didn't even get to see what the item was. Clearly nothing too useful. Just like that 20 rupees then. Nothing too useful. So I like the ordering of what Alanim's done here. He's gone and gotten the item in the waterfall room before coming back down here because he still needed the big key. And the big key could have been in that one chest there and he would have had to backtrack even further. So I like the routing logic there through this dungeon. Yeah, Yeah, that staircase is really tricky. If you hold left, then most of the time you'll not get caught in the sort of loading zone bit for it again, but it's really annoying. Most of the time you just don't get to avoid going up and down it twice. Sadly, just bombs in there, and the Dwarven business having a not quite so counterfeit heart creating business this time. So that's kind of good, and stepping up the game a little bit.
Yeah, the counterfeiting has been moved to the library.
Yep.
I'm 100% sure of that.
Ice Rod in the pedestal. It could be. It's very possible that Ice Rod could be the Master Sword item. Again, experience. The first time that I had the Master Sword be something important, it actually was the Ice Rod, so...
Ice Rod in the pedestal. Oh.
It can be literally anywhere. That's the thing. Like, it can be as far in as the Eye Bridge in Turtle Rock, or, of course, the Mimic Cave. So, even though this is looking really close to go mode for AmazingAmpharos here, we could still be in for another 30-40 minutes of just not being able to find the Ice Rod.
It will just turn in one big fetch quest for the Ice Rod.
Yeah. It has happened lots of times before, unfortunately. And it's probably my least favorite part about the randomizer setup. And it makes sense because the only thing you need Ice Rod for in the entire game is to defeat Trinex. So it makes sense that it can be literally anywhere, but even more than the rupee grinding, even more than the often forced Aghanim stuff, by far my least favorite thing is finding that freaking Ice Rod, because, you know...
It's always late game, or usually late game. Because
it's very... Oh, nice cape from Argus there, though. We haven't seen what the Cape Cave or Bomber Cave has yet, so that might be important.
And Bombas Tablet, blessing AmazingAmpharos with a quarter of love.
Bombos' fiery heart burned with too much passion, and so it had to split itself in 4.
Yeah, stick the other 3 pieces together, they will form one again.
It's a bit of a shame that Alan is not also checking the Bombos tablet here. I don't think he's done that yet, because he didn't have the book until after he checked the purple chest and such. Not a disaster, just a bit of a shame that that sort of thing hasn't been checked here. So, speaking of Bomber Cave, this actually seems to be a fairly popular spot for the Ice Rod in my test as well. But it's not the Ice Rod that's up there. So, you kind of hinted a little bit that you might have wanted to see the lamp be in Palace of Darkness or so, but that Swamp Palace will actually lead to getting the lamp if Alanim does go up that direction.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
He's going to change the dwarf back.
Yeah, now that he actually can, because I forgot that he didn't have time. Now that he can actually do this stuff.
True.
Good job he realized it instead, you know.
Yeah, for me the lamp is one of the most reassuring items to get. Anything in the dark in this game is just terrifying for me.
That's perfectly understandable. I was exactly the same way again until not too long before the tournament, and then I just gave up and tried it. Found that I could actually do Maya. It took me a couple of lives to get it the first time, but found that I actually could get through Maya, and then as well, just go from there, you know. Find a map for the Dark Maze, and it's not too bad. The only catch is I really, really don't like doing the Turtle Room in Palace of Darkness without the Fire Rod to light the torch there. That one is really, really difficult to do. Looks like a fat load of nothing for the rest of the AmazingAmpharos here, though. But this is solid in its own right, because now he'll be able to check the catfish without going quite as far out of his way as he. This is the usual sort of string that I try and put together when I'm wanting to check catfish. Ideally, you would do this with checking Zora too, but that's usually not possible, because Zora tends to have to be checked beforehand. So, just working out exactly what Alanim is setting up for. I guess he's not going to flute around. Maybe he'll be checking bombos now. That's possible. Is this gone down? No, I can still hear it, but I don't see it on the restream. But it did pause me for a sec, so... Looks like he may be having, either he or I am having something that are looking like drop frames in the chat too.
Alanim is frozen for me as well.
Okay. So,
Amazing.
from the sounds of it, he didn't, AmazingAmpharos didn't get anything.
AmazingAmpharos now heading to the Palace of Darkness, where we will see more lampless action.
So, I wonder what we're gonna find in here. Was Palace of Darkness the crystal dungeon? Yeah, it was the crystal dungeon, right? Because... Or was it? Wait, no. Was it Ice Palace and Skullwoods or something? No, Thieves Town was a thing, right? I can't remember which one's
and
which
Ice
here.
Palace.
Okay, so...
And Eastern Palace for that matter.
Yeah, I know. I remembered Eastern, but I didn't remember the other ones. So I just want to say that AmazingAmpharos, I mean not AmazingAmpharos, is Alanim's stream is still going. It just might not be running quite so much on the actual. We can't see it on the restream, but I have his open for the. It is actually still going at the moment. So I'm thinking he might actually be going towards Misery Mire. He's on the flute menu at the moment. Yeah, it looks like he is going into Misery Mire again at the moment. But he hasn't, to my knowledge, picked up the lamp yet. So that's interesting. Oh, getting hit by one of the weird snake things that comes out of the water does so much damage here. Yeah, he doesn't have the lamp yet, so...
Oh, he's back.
Okay, good.
I think.
Shoutouts to Fiesel for managing the stuff here.
Absolutely. And to all the restreamers, yeah, they're doing an amazing job getting all this together.
Alright, so... haven't yet seen anything out of Palace of Darkness. You don't really expect there to be anything out of the pod for the first couple of chests though, because there's a lot of small keys that you need at the start of the dungeon. So it's only really when you get to the later half of the dungeon that you need to start paying attention to that. That said, you can't just skip these chests though, not just because you need the small keys, but because there are those few seeds where you actually do have something really important in one of those chests there.
Absolutely, and this is also one of those dungeons where you will probably use a lot of keys, so you might just want to grab them anyway.
Yep. So nice use of the Canis Samaria block here when he gets it to connect. Alanim's just used his potion, so getting beat up a fair bit in Misery Mire. There's a lot of enemies that do a lot of damage in this place, so especially since he doesn't have his mail yet, because that was in Desert Palace.
Did Alanim get a lamp, or is he going to try for lampless?
I don't know if he's going to try for lampless, or if he's just hoping that lamp is in Mire, because that could happen. But right now, he doesn't have it.
Alright.
Yeah, right now I would give the lead to first for sure. Not using, I guess it doesn't really matter too much if you remember where the stuff is here, but not using the fire rod at the top of the room here like he could have, and now having a bit of trouble getting one or two chests. There we go. So I think the other one was the big key or at the very least like map or compass, because it didn't show up. I know he picked up both chests because he left otherwise, but just the compass by the looks of it.
I didn't even know it would not show up. That's interesting to know.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with the way the sprites are layered. I don't actually know because I don't know enough of the game here, but I'm sure more knowledgeable runners would be able to tell you exactly why that happens.
Ah, chest on the right was 300 rupees.
Alright, okay. Since I don't have AmazingAmpharos' audio on, I can't actually hear when he's gaining rupees. So... It's a nice dark room navigation. You can mostly do this room with a set combination of diagonals. I actually did a kind of impromptu tutorial on this last night after my run on stream, because I was like, you know, I'll show this off to this Jency that was asking at the time. Show it off to her just so she could see how I set it up. And yeah, with good use of diagonals, you can kind of just get through that pretty consistently. Pretty much every time. So obviously AmazingAmpharos has practiced that, and there is the Ice Rod.
Ice Rod.
He is in go mode, guys.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
We can now rush all the crystals, get again, and beat the game.
So definitely paying out here, going to this place now. I mean, since you can do lampless, I think this was a fairly logical direction to go regardless, but that takes nothing away from just being able to do that and being able to get the Ice Rod early, because big key chest, unless you can do that bomb jump, and even then, the big key was in the Dark Maze. So the game is the logic is expecting you to go to Swamp Palace to get the cape, which then gets the lamp, and then you go Palace of Darkness. That's where the logic wants you to go. But clearly, we have seen that if you can do those rooms in the dark, you can actually sort of cheat out the progress there. Doesn't always pay off, but clearly this time it has.
Yeah, certainly, absolutely, it's paying off for AmazingAmpharos.
Yeah, AmazingAmpharos has already done Mire in the Dark and is now going to take care of this particular sore spot as well. Hopefully he does get the Fire Rod on the torch at the start. There technically is a turtle blocking it, but the turtle moves horizontally first, so on either side. There's 6 turtles in that room, and the top 2 tend to move to...
Yeah, he's going to light the room.
There you go.
That's really good call.
And then even if the light goes out, then the way that the game is coded for it, because the game doesn't expect you to be able to fire rod a place without actually having the lamp at the time, it glitches out and the light appears in the center of the room. So like a torch beam appears in the center of the room. So you'd be able to see the terrapins moving there. So Alanim did not find what he was looking for. As we know where it is, he hasn't checked up there yet.
Ooh, AmazingAmpharos have a little bit of trouble with the Helmsur King right now.
So it's looking like he's really seriously considering what he wants to do here. He hasn't yet done, and he's trying to do the lampless stuff.
He's going to try it.
Max respect for that, because this is not easy at all. Maybe looking up a map to see exactly where stuff is here. I definitely don't blame him for that. Seeing a bit of the dash particles going around, trying to pick up where the pot is.
And AmazingAmpharos now getting his 4th crystal. And I believe he has Swamp, Skullwoods, and Turtle Rock left now.
Yeah, and he has all the items, and Swamp Palace is really easy to just clear with that, so... I don't expect him... Yeah, Skullwoods as well, yeah. I don't expect him to get the lamp. Oh! nice attempt using the hookshot for stuff here. Because the hookshot would latch you on to the pot, as you're seeing there. He has lifted the pot. Now it's just the hard part. Right, so he stepped on the switch, but then got hit, so he's probably not in the right line anymore. No.
Oh, he's taking a death here.
It's really rough to do, especially if you've never practiced it, and I'm fairly confident in saying, yeah, there's not been a practice there. Looks like he's gonna go straight back in though. Max respect for this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really tough trick.
I think logically speaking, since he hasn't entered Desert House at all, the logical choice would be to mirror out of here, do Desert, and then see if you get Lamp in there. Of course, we know that it won't be there ourselves, but again, players don't know what we know, so it's very possible that it could be there, and I think that would be the more logical approach, but max respect for trying to do this. This is something that most people would want to attempt to do, so...
Lamp is in fact at the bumper cave.
Yes, and he does have the cape, because cape was an Argus. So the logic was expecting you to full clear Swamp Palace before going to Misery Mire.
Unfortunately, he has not checked that place out yet.
Yeah. Sadly, no bug net either, so there's no chance to grab fairies here for bottles. The green tunic does suck, but it doesn't matter as much as you think because the fireballs do set damage. So no matter what mail you're using, this room does one heart at a time to you. In fact, pretty much everything that you would be getting hit by in this area does one heart of damage. That hookshot is really good for this, actually. It's a really good idea, using it for that. I heard the switch go, but the block has not been able to be put in the right spot. Again, taking the hit makes you move diagonally as well. It just completely resets where you are in the room.
Oh, I think he got... Oh, no, he went
He's
back.
gone out, yeah. Reset the room, try again.
Yeah, that might be a good call, just to have some kind of idea where you are.
So what... Oh. I think what he needs to do, if he's going to work with this strat, is he needs to time his hook shot so that he uses it as the fireballs are being emitted in the first place. Because if he doesn't latch onto the thing, that's fine, the fireballs go around him. If he does latch onto it, then he gets pulled away from it. He got it! Okay.
Oh!
That's pretty good if he doesn't get killed by the Stalfos here, and if he can manage to get this anti-fairy. Because he will need to take at least 2 hits in the next room, and that spike trap is a 1 heart damage regardless.
Nonetheless, he did get it, which is an amazing feat on its own.
Yeah. So using Quake, I think, transforms the skull into the Stalfos into a jelly, which doesn't actually do too much different, but does make it a bit easier to kill, I suppose. So there is that. Oh, I'm missing the anti-fairy though. As Ampharos is clearing up Argus, no problem, getting himself the cape. I don't think he's going to go ahead and get the lamp at this stage. He is through to the 3rd room. It's just a problem now if he's used his potion. And that spike trap is pretty much guaranteed to hit you twice. There's no real way around that. I mean, there is, but it's...
He's not using his sword as a torch either.
Wait, has he made it through? I've heard two pots get tossed. Has he made it through?
Oh.
Yeah, he actually did. He didn't even get hit there. So, what he needs to do now, I don't think he needs to hit the switch because he took a death. But you need to move up, just straight up, Yeah, he doesn't need to hit the switch because the switch is already on red.
Who is? Oh no! He took
wow.
a death. Oh,
That
that's
is heartbreaking.
especially of going so far.
Yeah,
I was really rooting for him to get it.
fantastic effort and massive kudos to him for going again straight back into this here.
Absolutely. He's
Absolutely.
not giving up at all. He wants that Lampless Mire crystal, and can have nothing but respect for that.
Like, I imagine he knows at this point, with spending so long in here, that he probably isn't winning this race. But that doesn't matter, because this is a fantastic opportunity to try this out. And, again, max respect to the guy for doing this.
Absolutely.
There is a full magic before you go into the basement, so don't be worried about the fact if he doesn't have magic right now. There is a full magic as in the pot to the left before you go onto the bridge. So
And I don't think he realizes he can also use the powder on the bunny fairy.
yeah, possibly not. It is something a bit obscure, and you can't do it when they're moving. So
Yeah, it has to be either inside the pot or when it's still stationary.
So, the only treasure chests in the dark are in Palace of Darkness. And the Cane of Samaria, along with other key items, can show up in those, but if it does, that means that the lamp has to be accessible before the logic expects you to go there.
And AmazingAmpharos currently having his 6th medal.
Yep.
Which means he only has to go to the rock and then straight to Gan's Tower.
So we'll see, taking a few hits, he lifted the pot. Don't know if that's a good thing though, because he took a hit straight afterwards. The switch is really twitchy even at the best of times. I heard the switch go.
He's still moving the block.
Yeah, it looks like the block wasn't on the switch, he was. Just as I expected, AmazingAmpharos is not going on to, and yeah. He gave it a really solid effort. Absolute A+ for the effort there.
Definitely, and he did manage to do it once.
Yes, that is more than most people can say. So, massive kudos to the effort there. So, AmazingAmpharos did not pick the lamp up before going here. That does not surprise me because Turtle Rock is really the easiest of the dark rooms. So
they say. Well, it's one room and you don't actually move yourself. You move
the only little trick. He might actually, Alanim might be going just to get potions before trying again. That wouldn't surprise me at this point, but he doesn't have a bottle to use yet because the bee is kind of in the way. That would not surprise me if that's what he's doing at this stage.
If only he decides to check out the bamboo cave, it could make such a big difference.
It would. Lantern can actually be around Turtle Rock, so long as it is before the eye bridge. It is possible for Lantern to be in Turtle Rock. This includes the Mimic Cave that you have to mirror to. I remember, I think it's Jency said that the lamp was there in one of her seeds before. So,
wow, there are really some terrible places where you can get the lamp.
Oh yeah.
And in those terrible places, it's where it really pays off to go lampless in this game.
Yep. Now, it looks like Alanim is choosing a different path here, going for Skullwoods first. Entering from a weird direction now. Hopefully this is a small key so he can be a little bit vindicated, not vindicated, looks like it wasn't a small key, so he's gonna have to drop down one of the holes anyway. And unfortunately, it wasn't map or compass or something either. It was one of the items of the dungeon. Skullwoods only has 2 items. I'm not sure. It's gone down the wrong hole here. Skullwoods is hard to navigate. Admittedly, it can be really irritating to work through this place unless you found Big Key and I didn't see.
I mean, if you know like some standard route you have, and you suddenly have to actually explore Skullwoods, it can.
Ouch.
Ooh, taking another death here.
Oh, change on room not having a key of some description, so we are gonna have to see the big key chest, I think. Because I don't remember the big key being collected before, so we are gonna...
I think one of those enemies before the big key chest drops a key.
Yeah, so but that's fine. But if he hasn't picked up the big key yet, then he has to go to that standard chest where it is.
Absolutely.
ACM taking not ACM, Alanim, sorry. He's taking another death there. That one may have been intentional just because of how much damage was taken in the world.
True.
So, not realizing with the King Samaria here that you can actually ignore this particular statue entirely, but that's fine. So now we're seeing Big Key was indeed in its regular chest, so I wasn't missing anything with that.
Yeah. I want my money back for this seat now.
Now, I wonder if we're going to see that bomb wall there be hit. Yes, we are. So, little known fact here, there is one single pot beyond this wall which has full magic in it.
Wow. I absolutely forgot about it.
Little known fact, but if you're struggling for magic going into the last section of this dungeon, then definitely go ahead and pick that up.
These Hyrule scenic routes, though. Man. Seeing all kinds of new stuff in this game.
Alanim's early game running was extremely good. Like, he did pretty much everything that I would have done at the start, and that's always nice. Oh, going into this room here, I think this is just a supply room. I'm thinking, yeah, I don't actually want to go in there.
Yeah.
That's not a direction to go in. Yeah, his early game running was fantastic, and I think up until the point where he did Swamp Palace, he pretty much did everything that I was thinking I would have done in, you know, the situations here. So that's a pretty good start. And then
I agree.
even then, the Swamp Palace decision wasn't exactly bad. It's just not where I would have done as my first choice. Oops.
He is he not going to do Skullwood?
He probably wants to check the Master Sword item.
Ah, that makes sense.
Because it's possible that the MS item is Lamp, since all 3 of the dark dungeons that you would need are not... you need to go from the front. Yeah, there you go. Just couch. It's possible this is like the setup. If Lamp is going to be the Master Sword item, it has to be where all 3 of the dark room dungeons, Palace of Darkness, Misery Mire, Turtle Rock, all of those need to be crystal dungeons. So, yeah, this room is not as bad as it looks. You just need to... Oh, but Ampharos went left first, unfortunately. That's gonna make things really tough to work out from here. So, the way that you do this is you hold right to begin with, and then as soon as you start moving right, then you go down. You hold down until you reach where the... Where did he go? Oh, he's... No, wait. No, where did he go? Oh, he was on the thing, right. Oh, he went the wrong way again, though. So if you don't press anything, or if you just hold down as soon as you start going on that platform, you will move left. You don't want to move left, you want to move right. So you go right, hold down, there we go, he's going the right way now. So you hold down, and then you accidentally fall off because you've held down too long. But once you've gone down twice, you
I do like seeing Link's shadow on the moving platform.
He's gone left again. So he could have gotten the lamp. He's done this to himself. He could have gotten the lamp before coming in here, but
And
not
I think
taking
he's
it
actually
in there.
going to
Reset the room basically. He's gonna take an intentional death to get some health back. He's resetting where he's at. It's quite the slow thing, but what can you do? It's better than trying to navigate around that room more. I would probably mirror if I took the wrong path there too. So
absolutely.
basically, the way that you normally do this room is once you are on the platform, you hold right, and then as soon as you start moving right, you hold down. You do 2 downward transitions, so when you see yourself moving down again, then you would hold right. That takes you to where the pot is. The pot is actually in line with you. You can pick it up, and then you just need to tap up a little bit to hit the switch. Then,
I'm with much luck kill here.
yeah, I managed to just get through it. That's good. Oh, he keeps going left! I am so good at roast him if he comes in with the interview for this, because he's just done this to himself. Now I know how Andy felt with us in the Christos race.
I still don't believe this being the easiest one, and case in point, I guess.
So, it really depends on if you can feel it out at the start. It's easy to tell when you've changed directions, and that if you actually remember the directions that you're supposed to take, that pretty much sets it up fine. So he's mostly just not quite gotten the start right. And then the one time he got the start right, he held down for far too long, and so he just walked straight off the thing, because the platform that you needed to get to is on the right-hand side. So he is taking another intentional death here. He's almost out of magic too, and I don't know if there is a magic fill here. I don't remember him buying potions, and I do know that in doing the dark room with Maya, he used the 1 potion that the seed gave him. So yeah, you make the platform. You hold, you press down. Obviously, getting onto the platform, immediately right, and then as soon as you've moved right, you go down. Once you've moved down the second time, because you do this like down right thing, and that's where you get to the island in the center. Once you've gotten that, you hold right, you get to the pot, you go back onto the platform, you hold right, and then when you see yourself move right, you hold down. When you see yourself go down, you hold left, and then the second time that you see yourself go left, you hold down, and the room is done. It sounds complicated until you actually do it by feel. Like if you remember the way that you actually, oh nice, Alanim going towards the lamp. Go.
Will he pick it? Oh!
Who knows? AmazingAmpharos might just fail this for the next 20 minutes, and Alanim could catch up. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. Oh no! Oh no!
He fell off the ledge.
Those pterosaurs do like 750 hearts of damage at the time. It is so annoying. Okay, obvious exaggeration, but they do 4 full hearts of damage with the melee.
Who would win? Ganon, a death rock, or that bat?
I've got to say that bird is a pretty good bet.
Yeah, I know, right?
that bird is a pretty solid bet for who would win here. AmazingAmpharos is just dying left, right, and center here. I'm not entirely... I must admit, I'm not really watching too much of what's going on that side right now to see what he's...
I have no idea what AmazingAmpharos is doing right now.
You know, if I was in his position right now, having seen where the lamp is, I would probably just give up and get the lamp again. Like, sure, you're taking a lot of time out here, but with how many times you have failed this...
It's a gamble at the end. He has no idea how far Alanim is. So he might be thinking, oh, he is right behind me or something.
Yeah, the mirror respawns the thing too, so... Right, I didn't quite see. Did he actually get... Oh, he hasn't gone on it. Oh, he's gone left again! Oh my god! Why? It's really, really hard to recover this room if you get it right at the beginning. That's Andy, now I know how you feel. Just he keeps going left.
Oh, he keeps going left.
Why? Oh my god.
This is like that.
This is torturous. Absolutely torturous. The blue tunic was in the desert palace. So not particularly tricky.
Don't really care for, because they just hit one straight hard. And
did Alanim actually get the lamp? Because he must have seen it was on the thing, because he was in that area. What else could he be looking for?
Oh,
ice rod?
He's going to catfish.
Yeah, he hasn't got the ice rod because he hasn't passed down this yet, so maybe he's still looking for that. Yeah, he died before getting the lamp, but I know that he did see it, because he died after jumping off the ledge by accident, with the bird chasing him.
I mean, I sure hope he will pick it up.
Alright, can we get it this time? Oh man, we are beginning this.
He went red. He went right.
Okay, so he's held that, so now he will have heard that he's hit the switch, surely. He better not put the cane block on the switch, that does not...
I actually always did that as a child.
He might actually just be looking at the map at this point. So now you go... and then down, left one more, and you hold down. There you go. See? How hard was that?
Pretty hard, I think.
Apparently.
And Alanim is not going to get the lamp.
He hasn't checked Ether tablet yet.
Yeah, I guess he might go.
Ooh, half magic, nice.
Ooh, that's always nice to get.
A slight consolation for having to check every item on the image for a key. The empty bottle's not really enough of a consolation, isn't it, Bugman?
I mean, if I were AmazingAmpharos right now, I would just open that door south, go outside for a bit, because I really would want to do the platform room blind.
I could understand that. Meanwhile, Alanim talking to the ball guy there, getting caught up by mistake. I can understand that, but at the same time, I don't expect him to have any trouble with the boss here, because the boss is not in the dark. So
that's true.
Also, shoutouts to the mountain fairy there. That was the one I was talking about earlier. So we might be seeing Spike Cave here. How much effort was taken to get back to full health there?
True. I mean, he could use Brian or the Cave.
Yeah, but even then, with single magic, and we know he's not getting heart magic anytime soon, it's really difficult to get. I mean, Cane of Burner can get through on the full single magic thing, but it's really tough to do, and you need to use the Pegasus boots very well. So you're expected to have half magic when going through here. And a heart container. Not even sank heart. Intentional death, hope. So, AmazingAmpharos, like 50 minutes later, finally getting this last crystal.
Total Rod proving to be a worthy adversary. Especially
I have no sympathy for him though, because he did it to himself. He knew where that lamp was. He knew that he got cape. Like, even Dungeon Rush in that, he had the cape at the end of it. I have no sympathy for him here. So,
we're getting into Ganon's Tower now, and what chest will AmazingAmpharos find the big key?
It's always the question.
I'm going to say chest number 8.
So it looks like Alanim is going back to where the lamp is here. I imagine the other chests were mostly checked for ice rod, because dying there is like, right, I know this is where the lamp is, but the ice rod is still up at large, and that can literally be anywhere. So I don't necessarily begrudge him for doing it there, because he, in his mind, and you know, in our mind, I guess, he would have to check those chests anyway. I do begrudge him not killing those birds, though.
Oh, if that bird hits him, it will begin all over again.
So, fun fact, you actually don't need the hookshot to get across here, because you can walk on the top edge of that pit there. I think I have actually seen the hookshot there.
Oh, bombas.
Uh-oh. Does Alanim not know how to get through this cave?
Ooh.
To be fair, I didn't know this time either when I was a kid, but... Uh-oh. There we go.
Yeah.
I never realized that for something as a kid. Oh, big key in a really interesting spot actually.
It was, I think it was chest number 7.
I think chest 8 sounds right because the torch counts as an item spot. So location
In that
8.
case,
It'll say
right.
7. It'll say 7 on the credits unless he did bomb torch though. But technically, you check that location as you go. So
in that case, I actually guessed it right. Well, I can retire now.
So, up to the ascent here. Not really a huge amount to say with it. I mean, he has half magic, so hopefully he fire rods in the gauntlet, because that is the most satisfying feeling.
Yeah, just burn the entire gauntlet down. No one worry about it.
It quick kills the Stalfos and is much easier and less laggy to hit than the Silver Arrows, so...
Absolutely.
In my opinion, much more effective. Alanim actually doing a nice thing that I tend to do there as well, dashing up far enough so that the bird gets despawned, rather than waiting, rather than quote-unquote doing the optimal thing there of how... Okay, probably taking intentional death here, actually.
Yeah, probably, you're right.
So, yeah, if you dash far enough up there, then you can make the bird despawn, rather than having it on screen the whole time, which is more annoying. It's now for us not using his fire rod. I may or may not
Dark
like the
Magician,
fire rod
not
too
giving
much.
it to me then, if you don't want me to read it.
Yeah, I may like the fire rod a little bit too much, I'll be the first to admit. But still, use the dang fire rod. It's there for a reason.
Yeah,
I hate this.
I agree with you, I like the fire rod as well. It's...
I hate that blue guy that gets stuck at the top there. Also, Beamos on ice. Just saying. See, if he used a fire rod, he would have killed that guy, no problem.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Beamos on ice, that sounds like some kind of terrible musical.
We had Amos on ice earlier, so...
Yeah, Beamos on ice is like a prequel to it.
So now with clear vision of what's going on.
Unfortunately, Alanim died after doing Block Room lampless, and he tried it again, and he just decided to mirror out at that point.
Serious respect for getting through that bit without taking a hit, though. That's the bit which I usually guarantee taking 2 hits on, because I'll hold up left, I'll get knocked into the corner bit, and then as soon as I get the second hit on me, then I know I can just go in. You could probably just do it with 1 hit, but it never deals too great. Also, that's the thing with doing Misery Mire, is that you need to remember that if you have not hit the crystal switch on the upper floor, you don't need to hit the crystal switch when you come back down. So if you're dungeon rushing this and you get the big key in the first 2 chests, then don't hit that switch.
Absolutely.
That bombable wall there is actually not as hard to find in the dark as you'd expect, though. Like, so long as you don't just get destroyed by the Stalfos, which, you know, hold your sword out and stuff for it, it's pretty easy to tell because of the nature of poking a wall that, you know, gives a different sound effect. It's very easy to actually tell that's where the bombable wall is. Or if you just slash the sword, for whatever reason you hear, like, the bush cutting sound and such when you slash a bombable or door object. So it's actually not as difficult to do that as you'd expect. It's really that first room is the hard part of that place.
AmazingAmpharos. Oh, falling to
Dome strikes again.
Yeah,
Can't really roast
day.
him. Can't really roast him for that though, because I keep getting knocked off as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Trolldorn. If he just doesn't like you, you fall off.
Sadly, not everybody can pull an Andy and hover across, so...
Yeah.
Not checking the chest, this is
Oh,
an
not
invalid
checking
run,
the
good sir.
last chest. Yeah. There's no coming back from that.
Also doing a really weird way in that room. I mean, it would, but not just straight dashing up seems a bit weird.
Yeah.
So here we're gonna guarantee.
Disqualified.
Yep, we're gonna guarantee seeing terror. Wow, I stand corrected. My excuse for opening that chest, apart from just that I want to, my excuse for opening that chest is that it secretly manipulates the RNG of Aghanim to be good, but clearly that's not the case here. Although, it's not the greatest of positioning there, so... There's that blue mail. Alanim would have definitely liked to seen that a fair bit earlier.
Yeah, Alanim also full banana. Right, yeah, full banana.
Well, at least that's a bit more of a respectable teabag than some of them we've seen so far. Slashing at Aghanim rather than doing
that's an
stuff.
interesting strat, using the mirror to mirror out and go to east side of desert.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually faster. I want to say it's not, but considering the direction that he entered the dungeon in, I don't think it's completely terrible. But you do have that massive straight line that you dash across at the top, so I have a feeling it wasn't the most effective, but that doesn't make it.
I will say one thing, it was nice seeing that pattern.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting seeing how different people do these dungeons. That is one thing that I really enjoyed seeing about the randomizer here.
AmazingAmpharos using cape strats at Ganon.
Doing exactly what I would do.
First phase quite easily.
Yeah, that is what I do all the time a bit as well. Just easier. Not that I not necessarily needed, but it's just easier. So
yeah.
He needs to learn hard stuff.
Why not?
Yep, he needs to learn the hard stuff when you can do easy things, right?
Oh, we got Storage Glitch with
that's really good.
That's good to see.
He's already on the final hit here too, so that is GG for us.
This is a GG, congratulations.
I never joined the race chat.
Good sir.
I just realised I was so busy setting up other stuff I never joined the race chat, so I can't poke him for that. I need to fix this. Oh, but you can't when Live Split doesn't let you when it's already... Okay, I guess I'll just Pokemon Discord then.
Get the good sir in here.
So yeah, I didn't see, I don't see what the official time frame is, but it won't be too far away from what his timer says there, maybe like 2 or 3 seconds at most, so very nice, GG for him. As we see in Lamola's here, pretty good as well.
And I believe Alanim now has a Palace of Darkness and Turtle Rock left.
Yes.
So he can go to Ganstow.
Yep.
Oh, Yonko recovered. Nice.
Bonks are what you get when you bash into a wall with the Pegasus boots.
So, how many bonks do you think you will have?
I'm gonna go high 20s, I think. 28. Let's go for that.
You know what? I'm going to say 32. And if it's right, blame the spoiler log.
So here, hopefully, Palace of Darkness will, of course, we know it yields the Ice Rod, but hopefully Alanim actually checks the whole place for it. So he has as many bonks. Oh, that's a good question. How many deaths do you think he had? Considering, I think what he was doing was intentionally dying to lift that one pot, which
I would say
really
at
needed,
least that sword wielding kid.
Yeah, because he had the Master Sword.
Yeah. I really love some of these credit screen jokes.
Hello, you.
Well,
First of all, congratulations on winning.
I'm glad I won. I'm certainly not glad at how I played at the last 10
Yeah.
That was a thing.
I have words for that, but yes.
I mean, that room isn't even difficult. That's by far the easiest of the 3 dark rooms.
See?
No,
You guys
I
on
don't
stream
believe you.
were like, oh, this room is the hardest thing ever. What are you doing? Nope. This room is easy. You just
I
need
was
to
kind
not...
of baffled why my initial move kept going left. I have no idea what to do if the platform goes left at the start when you're trying to hit right.
So, yeah, if you just hold down, then it moves you left automatically. Like, when you hit that junction, it just defaults to going left. So you need to hold right at the start and then down straight away so you get the right path.
I kept trying to hold right, and then it went left, and then I was really confused. And then I was trying to hold right so hard, I walked off the platform before it started moving. Then I was holding down so hard when I finally got the path, I walked off.
Yep.
When I finally hit the stupid switch, the second part of the path is automatic.
Yep.
It's
I
one of
must
those
say
things that if I'd done it, I had a really good chance of doing it right the first try, and as soon as that didn't happen, that was really bad.
Yep.
Also, one thing. Do you know what your best decision have been in this race?
I know what a lot of my worst decisions were.
Well, I would say your best decision was grinding for that cash to get Titan Smiths early on.
Yeah, that was... I figured it was extremely likely. Like, early flippers basically just screams to me, you're gonna have to go to the Zora area early.
Yeah, that's not a bad assumption.
Yeah.
The way that this seed works, you didn't really have to go and do that. There was Alanim did pretty much what I would have done with stuff. He got boots fairly early and was able to do a whole bunch of other stuff that, you know, I think he got mirror fairly early on as well because of basically getting boots. You had Master Sword from the Sick Kid, so he just straight up did super early. Was able to get the mirror and therefore go up Death Mountain. Of course, got the hook shot in the big chest of Tower Hera, so you know there's lots of progression there. The only time that it really made a big difference there is when you got up there. You had the Titansmith, so you could do Dark World Death Mountain at the same time, and that was really the sort of big divergence, I guess, within the route. But up until that point, there was plenty of good progress that could be done without actually grinding. So, always an interesting decision within this one, and I think both ways paid off in their own respects, you know.
Yeah, I figured out as soon as I saw the fire rod up on Death Mountain, I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out which light. Is it a pendant in the light world? Because there's a pendant anywhere in the light world, I know to beat Aghanim.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Eastern was a pendant, so I was like, okay, gotta beat Aghanim, and then Boots will unlock the seed, because Boots to mirror to fire rod.
Yeah.
And it turned out to access to Hera, which was also a hookshot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it mostly did just unlock at that point. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, like, it just drove me crazy, because even the 5 minutes, and I think it was about 5 minutes, I decided to flush down the toilet in Turtle Rock. Like, I should have gone straight to Palace of Darkness after Mire. It was kind of a wimpy play to look around. It's like, maybe Ice Rod's on the overworld, maybe I'll get the lamp.
20 bucks.
Oh, it's less than I thought. Okay.
It's less really good. Oh.
Yes. Only 6 deaths. All right.
6
Not
deaths.
quite as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be a bit more than that, but
I
Most
guess
of those
more
were
than 10.
intentional when I knew I was low enough on life not to
Oh.
make it. I was like, I might kill
Yeah.
myself and get to health.
We
yeah,
noticed
okay.
that. We were even
2 of them were magic
a
farming
couple of
deaths.
times. We even talked about it a couple of times that you were taking intentional deaths.
Yeah, I thought you were just going to use the mirror. But
I mean, there's
guess
really
that-
nowhere to heal over there other than that pit, which is an inviting way to die.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, like, the only magic jar I know of, if you magic for that room, I think it's the only one that exists.
I think there's this really weird refill room that is... I forget exactly which bit it's at. I think it's going... Oh, it might be further up, actually. There's... Where you do the dash into the wall, the right-hand side of there, you've got to kill all the slimes in the room first, but there's this really weird refill room in there, which you kill all the slimes, you're able to then push the blocks. And I forget if there's full magic in there. I'm pretty sure there's fairies at the very least. It's
I
a really
thought
weird
that was a
room.
rupee room up there.
No, the rupee room... I know there is a rupee room in this place as well. Maybe that is where it is. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's the rupee room. I just
Okay.
consulted my map here.
Okay. It's a weird room anyway that obviously you never
Oh yeah,
see
it's a
used,
rupee
but-
room with 3 spike rollers in it. Why would you ever do that to yourself?
There's all sorts of weird places that you can get refills of stuff in areas though, so it's easy to sort of forget what is where, you know. I think the other one is like the tile room in Turtle Rock, which obviously easiest tile room ever because you just stand in the doorway. Nothing behind it that's of any good, but it's...
That has fairies behind it.
Yeah, which, considering how many anti-fairies are... Not
Oh yeah,
problem,
it's totally not worth, but it's there.
but,
There's also fairies you can reach from the very end of Turtle Rock if you mirror back to the light world.
yeah, I remember that. I think I've seen somebody do that before. Can't remember if it was in the tournament or if it was just watching other race streams beforehand.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird place to ferry though, because if you use the doorway, you might as well use the pit for a heal. It's much faster than the fairies.
Some people don't like taking deaths though.
I mean, even though the way I played in Turtle Rock wouldn't indicate it, it is a gotta go fast game, not a gotta not die game, right?
Yeah,
That's true.
Things usually go
That's true.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
yeah. I just kept apart from obviously going, you're going the wrong way every time. But I think I said a couple of times.
I had
well,
to calm him down.
I was just like, well, you've done this to yourself. I have no sympathy
I mean,
for you here.
I knew which way the right way was.
Yeah.
I just kept missing going it.
Meanwhile, Alanim getting his 6th crystal, which means he only has Turtle Rock and Ganstower left.
Did he ultimately end up going out of his way for the lamp?
He
Yeah.
was a freaking trooper, though. He tried about 4 or 5 times to do Maya in the dark, and made it to the 3rd room once. And yeah,
He died
max
there.
respect to the guy. Unfortunately, died to the fireball generator at the top. But yeah, he tried for quite a long time to get that to work, and I want to say he's probably not done that before. So max respect to the guy for giving that a go and on a race here, especially with so many potential people with it as well. I can imagine the pressure for that. Max respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that Meyer is not an easy one to do in the dark. Like, I had a pretty rough go at that myself, but I didn't feel too horrible about it because
the block is just horrible to find.
Yeah, that and the fact that I had it a lot earlier, but then a fireball hit me into my Samara.
Yeah.
Off the switch. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Yeah, I did see you use your blue potion in that room, so...
Yeah, honestly, like, I would have preferred to save it, but it was well spent getting through there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Alanim now on his way to Turtle Rock.
So, I guess the question that usually gets asked at the end of these, is there anything that you've taken from this that you would either really want to do better, or apart from the obvious, or is there anything in particular that this seed has, I guess, taught you that you maybe didn't think about before?
Sometime tonight, I'm going into Turtle Rock on this seed. I'm making a save state in the room right before that maze room, and I'm doing it about 20.
Yep.
Also, like, in terms of the strategy of the seed, like, the Turtle Rock thing was just horrible execution. It wasn't like everything I did was correct logically, it was just executed as wrong as you could execute it. But my logical mistake was I should have gone to Palace of Darkness much earlier. I cost myself 3 or 4 minutes searching a bunch of worthless overworld spots. Because the Ice Rod ended up being in Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no way to know.
I mean, there's no way to know it, but I was going to have to hunt Big Key anyway. Like, it was kind of a wimp move. Like, well, maybe I'll get Lamp. The sharper play would have been straight to Pod, and then if I got nothing there, then...
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I can see that.
It's what I did. It was... How completely garbage all those overworld spots were was a little saddening.
Yeah.
The glimpse at the lamp was pretty trolly.
It always is disheartening when you go, oh, I've got this really efficient route for collecting all the items here, and it's going to be really great, and then you just kind of get absolute nothing. As well, there goes the next 5 minutes of my...
Yeah, so those are the 2 things I take away from it. Don't do anything like what I did in that maze room. And also don't do unnecessary overworld, no matter how much you don't feel like doing a room in the dark that day. Also, don't play on tilt in Ganon's Tower. I lost at least a minute to that.
Big Key was in a really interesting spot, though. Very rarely see it.
Feels like that's a really rare room for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really think the distribution's that uneven, but you just don't see it there very often.
Yeah.
It's because it's only one chest, and there are like a couple of rooms that have more than one chest.
Well, sure, but even thinking of that, I see it more often in that stupid tile room than I do in that firebar chest there, where it actually was this time.
Yeah, that's true. Oh.
Jade Chomps!
Jade Chomps being not nice at all.
Bad dog. Oh well.
Someone, You can't hit them either. They're invulnerable to everything, so there's no way to get revenge. This evil face dog thing.
So, yeah, just from a observer's point of view, I really liked this seed mostly for that fact of, oh, uh-oh,
Whoa!
uh-oh. Hold up
What?
for a second. A weird camera scroll glitch. I have heard of that, but I've never actually
What?
seen it myself. There, don't
That's
actually know exactly how that happens.
that was really odd.
So I've had a, if you like, damaging variant of that before in the top of Ganon's tower, where after beating Moldorm, it kind of despawned everything in the rest of the tower, and I had to redo the entire ascent. But I've heard of that
Someone
one.
should definitely clip that.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, and I've seen somebody put a picture of that falling part in the Discord before, but I've never actually seen it on video.
That never happened before.
Yeah. Speedrunner 101, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what I was saying with the way this seed went, like, both of you fundamentally did the same sort of stuff, but took it in a different way because of the whole grind versus not grind thing. And I like how, in the end, neither of those were particularly wrong choices. Because you spent a heck of a lot of time grinding up that money, considering you go any of the important places. But at the same time, you then sort of made up for it later on with being able to do stuff like Dark World Death Mountain in one shot, or being able
really
to
lagging the screen right here.
Yeah, it's the anti-fairies at the top of the screen that mostly do that, I think. That's why I tend to powder them if I can, even though it's not really necessary, just because it gets them out of the way. But yeah, it sort of paid off later on, getting the Titans mid early, but for the most part, it was very even in the way that it sort of ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
like, I
Lampless
was
did
pretty
make a
surprised
difference.
and a little annoyed when I found boots where they were.
Yeah, it's one of those spots. I think we've had this sort of discussion before, where it's a point of contention in the sense of, well, do you really want to check that stuff early, or when you can't actually do Eastern, or if you don't even think you need to do Eastern because it's a pendant dungeon. And yeah, I think we've had that sort of discussion before, where we really just don't want to go there, but I'm always of that sort of thing of, well, almost always end up going there unless I have a very clear thing, say going up Death Mountain earlier, to do. I usually go there anyway, and obviously this time it would have paid off, but you never know these things until you actually play the seed.
Yeah, like, the big thing that made me just grind right away was I was already in Kakariko.
Yeah, that does make a difference, definitely.
Because I did the Southern Shore first, so that was already done.
Yep, I did sort of make the comments on that thing, and that is one thing. I believe it was you that actually caught me on to potentially doing that in the first place. So
yeah, I am a big Southern Shore advocate. Like, in this seed, the main way it paid off was I just had rupees from it. So when I went to CAC and I got the information that rupee farming was going to be valuable, I already knew Southern Shore wasn't the next place to go and had that money already in my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, there are situations where it does make sense, and I think this seed was one of them, because you had a ton of bombs, didn't have a bottle, and didn't have enough rupees to buy everything in Kakariko at a time. So those are usually the three criteria that I would tend to consider it at. Because if you've already got a bottle at the very least, then you to just get every item in Kakariko first, and it doesn't make sense to me. But
if I already have bottle, boots, or flute, I'm going straight to Kakariko no matter what.
Yeah.
If I have none of those things, but I have shovel, I'll save and quit to Link's house, and I'll go to Kakariko direction.
Alanim
check shovel first.
Hawk magic.
If I have none of those four things, but do have enough bombs to go south, I always go south.
Yeah, it's a good save on getting the half magic out of that Turtle Rock thing there. That was the one salvation, I guess, of having to check every chest there was that you got half magic on the way down. That was quite good.
Yeah, that was like the only useful thing I hadn't found other than lamp, which I knew where it was.
Yeah. So, I guess there's probably not really a way of putting this without sounding too rude, but against a, I guess, potentially stronger opponent, would you have still done this lampless, or would you have picked it up before going to Turtle Rock there?
I would have still done this lampless.
Right, okay.
What I would have done is I would have gone right side Ganon's tower.
Right, okay. Yeah, especially after the amount of time that you spent in Turtle Rock, you'd be thinking I'd have to be behind by this point. There's no way that I could just do this regardless, and unfortunately that wouldn't have paid off at all. But
oh no, it would have
Alanim
cost me a ton of time.
Onyx.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get hit another time here. Use that cape. There's one thing that I think this is Karkat's the one that sort of made me put that point in my guide at the time as well. A lot of people don't remember to use the cape, and it's really, really strong, especially when you've got fraction magic, so make sure you use that cape.
Yeah, I was happy to find half magic, because I was like, well, the Ganon fight just got a lot simpler.
Yeah.
Because I knew I couldn't cape against Ganon without half magic with absolutely nothing good in any of my buffs.
Nice fire rod. Fire rodding that torch glitch, by the way. Which is always really nice to see.
Yeah, because it's not spammable at that point like the lantern is, so whilst
Yeah,
it isn't the
one shot.
hardest, yeah, it's not the hardest thing ever to get, but it is a bit more precise. So
Yeah, I mean, the window's fairly broad, but it's very missable. It's not actually that big of a deal if you do miss it with silvers, but it's nice.
Yeah, what silvers I've actually been told is faster to not have do the torch glitch, because you can get more hits in Ganon.
I think Andy's doing some science on that scroll glitch that we saw there.
Yeah.
At the moment.
I think it's faster to torch glitch if you hit Ganon first and arrow him, and then you hit the torch glitch with the fire rod. If you go for torch glitch with lamp, I'm pretty sure it's slower.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because most people, when they really want torch glitch, don't try to hit Ganon right away. They let his first cycle pass, and that's the big difference.
Yeah, the only time that I don't try and hit him is if he's all the way at the top of the screen. Most of the time for me, he's down at the bottom of the screen, so I'm like, well, I'm just going to shoot him anyway, and then go for it afterwards, and usually end up missing torch glitch, going, well, whatever, I don't even care.
Andy calling out a lurker in chat.
I know you're here.
Yeah, my whole philosophy is I'll make torch glitch absolute #1 priority if I'm going silverless. If I have silvers, then hitting Ganon is so much more important. If I get torch glitch 2, that's great, but it's priority 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Christos does have a match in 40 minutes, if I'm looking at the clock right, so he might be getting ready for that. I'm assuming you're going to give him another roasting off of that, Andy?
Alanim also getting the big key.
Yep.
And he's on his way to go to Ganon too.
So, as a quick sort of side note, when you find a big key in places like that, you've got to just double check what your small key count is like, because it's quite common to end up, well, not that common, but I've had it in a couple of races where I've been in a room close to that, and the big key has been, basically the only key that I've had in forever, and so having to use a key to get into that room, I have none left. And one race is actually bad enough where it was, I think, in the what we call the rando room, the one where you bomb into and hit that weird switch and whatnot, and there were no small keys. Even going as far as the Armor's Knights, there were no small keys there either, which in that case you can take the gamble and go up, but you don't know that until you actually get all of the chests, so you need to be vigilant about how many small keys you have when you find it in that sort of area, especially if you've just used a small key in order to get to it in the first place.
Yeah, usually what I do is, because in the Ganon's Tower basement, especially on left side, there's not really a lot to think about as you go, you just kind of do it. I'm watching my small keys, so I know as soon as I see big key, I can react and mirror or keep chesting.
Yeah. Fantastic use of the resource room here to grab the... You can't use the bug net because it doesn't have it, but you can get your full magic, you can get your full health up just in time for the gauntlet. Hopefully, unlike somebody in here, Alanim actually uses a fire rod during this place. Fire rod is way easier to use.
We're keeping it nice here.
I should be using compost instead, that's fine. I know.
I mean, in my defense, I got really bad patterns in every gauntlet room.
I'm not saying you didn't, but...
I was already really frustrated. The enemies ran from me. They just juked all my silvers, which also one-shot every...
So yeah, nice easy way around this is just to bombos everything. That works too.
Yeah, bombos everything is... It's always slower than the room going well, but it's considerably faster than the room going poorly.
Yeah.
At least it's really consistent because you simply kill everything in your path.
Yeah.
One shot.
And with half magic, you've got plenty to use it on all rooms here. I like the positioning there, just making sure he's pretty much away from the ice before actually using the bombos, just so most of the way through the room. Yeah, I like it. Unfortunately, that fire spitter at the bottom just kind of nulling the silver arrows here.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, it can always be irritating because it just happens to fire at the exact time that you want to hit one of them. Not Moldorms. Good job they aren't Moldorms, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. 3 Moldorms in one room.
I mean, at least there's no pits, right?
I actually think 3 Moldorms, if assuming you have a high-level sword, would be a faster fight on average.
Probably.
True. If you can cape it, I mean, just to spin attacks and hope for the best.
Getting a little bit low on magic here. I don't believe there was a potion pickup before coming here, so there's just about enough magic to, if you pick up one of the pots that you normally wouldn't here, there's a small magic that you can get, that one at the bottom of the weird cross here. Definitely not enough to fire rod though, not even with half magic.
If you have Fire Rod, there's enough magic refills in the torch room to use the Fire Rod on all of them, but just barely.
Okay.
Because there's 2 small pots, which, you know, a small pot is 1 Fire Rod used normally, 2 with half magic.
Yeah, that's fair, and he did pick up both of them before actually going there, so I was running off of what magic was there at the time. That might not have been enough.
I hope he realizes he needs one more key. And I think he does.
Good stuff. So hopefully we see him not skip the anti-fairies and such at the end here. I've seen a few runs recently. Looks like he will, okay. I've seen a few runs do this, yeah, and skipping the magic too, which...
And even worse, skipping the final chest. I mean, who does that?
I don't know why people are so drawn to that final chest. Like, I did it the first couple randos I played, but if I'm not still looking for anything helpful, why open it?
Wow. he also skips the final chest. This is just turned downhill right now. Yep.
I know
I mean,
it's
even if it
not.
had red mail in it, it wouldn't have saved me time.
I know. I always end up making that excuse of, oh, it just gives good Aghanim RNG, even if it does that. Obviously, it doesn't do anything for it, but it just the I guess it's because it's a fan favorite at this point. I think I can't remember. Was it Crossfire that first said it? Maybe that made that joke, kind of like saving killing the animals in the Super Metroid tournament, where it was you don't do this, it's just an automatic forfeit from the thing, invalid run, etc. And I think it just kind of took off a bit from that, and now it's didn't open that chest, it's forfeited run, you know.
I mean, that practice race we did last night, that chest had silvers in it. That was fun.
That's actually pretty great.
It's not even the first time I've seen silvers in that chest either.
Alanim now going to Ganon.
I want to say I've had the gold sword in there once, actually. Because there was one seed I've had where I had to do everything Master Sword until Trinex dropped Tempered, and then I'm pretty sure Gold Sword was actually in that chest at the top. It was a pretty ridiculous seed. But...
Yeah, I just remember I had 2 races in a row way back where, you know, I skipped the chest, and then later I was told, oh, by the way, you just skipped silvers. Next race, I'm like, well, what are the odds it's useful twice in a row? I was mailless, and it was red mail.
Oh, dear.
I think Alanim is going to pick up some poisons, which might be a good call if you're not comfortable with Ganon.
Yeah, and I mean, this gives you a full health and magic refill before going into, need to use a potion before you could buy another one.
And not getting the free heal though, so that's...
Yeah.
That's a shame. I mean, I guess you...
Alright, now colour me a bit confused. What is he doing now?
I have no idea. Oh, he's going to the Dark World and saving a bit to get to the pyramid. That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, because you start at the top of the pyramid, so that's actually faster even than just going through normally. Yeah, alright. So, usual cape stuff here. You only need to hit him 6 times, but every time that I say, oh, I only need to hit it this many times, I always miss it somehow, even when I know I've hit him more than 6 in my head, so I just do that anyway. Just slash him as much as you can. You've been through so much already that you just take it out.
I've missed it so much. I've missed too many times hitting him enough that I just hit him till he changes another face. I mean, I'm not going to risk it.
Oh, thankfully the torch stopped him from falling off there.
He got the torch glitch.
I swear the DI on those bats is the absolute worst thing in the world.
He's tanking it.
The DI.
Yeah, well, I've never exactly been a Smash player, but I still tiny bit of some of the temp stuff, so it's like, yeah. It is the absolute worst thing in history to get knocked by those, because you just have no idea which way you're gonna fly. Most of the time in completely illogical directions.
Do I have time to pull him in? Or I think the next race is supposed to start quite soon.
I think we do. I think it's supposed to be about half an hour before it starts, but better double check with Fiesel first. But yes, definitely GG to Alanim there.
Yeah.
Very well. Yeah. Very well attempted on the Maya stuff, and again, no matter what the time, I have respect for the dude for trying that. So, yeah, that's pretty much that.
Mythical says we can do a quick interview since their streams aren't live yet. Last time
Right,
we
okay.
checked. So if you can get him in here
Let's
fast, you
see.
can.
We'll see if he responds for that. But yeah, that was definitely a fun one to look over there. Like I was saying, with the two distinct sort of mindsets of grinding versus not grinding and it working out in both directions, it's a really interesting seed. That would have been a great one for a weekly, actually.
Yeah, like, I'm totally gonna rewatch this VOD, think about things, and as soon as I reach the dark room in Turtle Rock, probably stop the video.
Just stop.
Just move 10 minutes forward, and
I know everything from this point on is bad. I know what I did wrong here.
I think you need to watch that just for my reactions to it, though, and then stop out of that at some point. Because yeah, just to hear my spirit break, you probably want to watch that part.
I was pretty happy with my run until I walked into that room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you guys attend to Alanim if you can get him in and set up and such. Thanks for the interview, thanks for commentating, and that was the thing.
once again, congratulations on winning.
Thank you.
Yeah, and despite everything that happened on the mountain, good job with the rest of the stuff in the dark as well, because it's never particularly easy to do all of it. Even if you have practiced it a lot, there's still that lingering doubt, or if I get hit in the wrong place, then... So, kudos for the rest of it as well.
I mean, my performance in the 3 dark rooms pretty much mirrored how much I've practiced each of them. Pod went smooth. I've practiced it a lot. Meyer had some rough spots. I practiced it some. I've barely practiced Turtle Rock. I think everyone knows that now.
Right? It's just one, right? Very good job on navigating in the dark. I couldn't do it. So, fantastic. It was great to watch as well.
Yeah, I'll catch you guys later.
Right.
Right, Alanim is not responding on the Discord, so I'm assuming probably not at this stage, and since that is the case, I think it's probably best that we wrap it up there. So thank you for watching this race, guys. I think we are going to have another one pretty soon. I know it was originally at 5 p.m. Eastern, right? I don't know if it's been moved forward or not.
It has been
and
moved
then Alan
forward.
is like, oh, sure, okay, never mind.
It now says 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And it will be a match between Swerve and Christus Owen. So...
Right, okay.
That will be a real treat.
I think we'll... to see, because Alan was just responding. He was expecting an IRC, and I didn't have that open. It was a bit late in starting with the stuff, so I think we'll need to move on anyway. But yeah, because he's not hopped into voice and whatnot, I think we'll need to move on. But we'll see what he says real quick. Yeah, because I see Christos not moving in, so I think... Yeah, I think we're out of time with that, I'm afraid. So I will hop off just now. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and enjoy the next race, where I'm hoping Andy's in the commentary stuff here, because his commentary of us, the previous Christos race, was pretty hilarious. So, yeah.
I agree with that.
So,
thanks, everyone.
Alright, take care, guys.
Goodbye.